My name is Musa Bas Musa. I'm based in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I am a student at the University of Edinburgh, United Kingdom, studying an online postgraduate certificate in climate change management for the intake of 2017-2018. This presentation is part of my assignment for the climate change impact and adaptation course of the first semester. This assignment aimed at assessing the potential vulnerabilities and impacts of climate change projection in the city of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, where I come from.
Dar es Salaam is an Arabic translation meaning the House of Peace. It was founded in 1862 on the site of East African fishing village of Mzizima. Dar es Salaam has grown from this sleepy fishing village once inhabited by the Zaramo people into a flourishing metropolis with about 4.36 million people as of 2012. With a population increase of about 5.6% per year from the year 2006 and 2012, as shown on the 2012 census, the city population is estimated at above 5 million people currently, making it the largest city by population in East African region. It is the third fastest growing city in Africa after Bamako and Lagos, and it is estimated that by the year 2100, Dar es Salaam will be the second largest city in the world after Lagos, with a population of about 76 million people by then. Dar es Salaam is located in the eastern part of the country at minus 6.82 latitude and 39.27 longitudes. It occupies an area of about 1,350 kilometers squares, stretching at about 100 kilometers between River Mpiji to the north and beyond the Mzinga River in the south. It is bordered by the Indian Ocean on the eastern side, and the city has an elevation of about 24 meters above sea level. The city is famous for media, music, arts, food, fashion, movies, and television. The city is comprised with the high-rise building, especially at the Central Business District located at the Ilala municipality, with the PSPF Twin Towers being the sixth tallest building in Africa, standing at 153 meters above sea level. There are mansions on the North District of Kinondoni, where most of the wealthy residents live. However, the poorer residents have also crowded on the large slums close to the downtown areas, many without basic services like running water. Along the east coast of Tanzania, including Dar es Salaam, the climate is tropical with fairly high humidity. The temperature averages between 27 and 29 degrees Celsius, and which is mainly moderated by the sea breeze. There is a small seasonal variation in temperature with small differences between maximum and minimum temperatures, which is typical for a coastal area in the tropics. The city experiences two rain seasons annually, with the longest heavy rains from March through May and the short rains from November to January. Rainfall illustrates the bimodal distribution, with peak rainfall during April and May and a dry period during July and September on the average. In summer, severe weather events. Tanzania is the most flood-affected country in the East African region. Dar es Salaam, as explained before, is the largest and fastest growing East African metropolitan area, and hence extreme weather events such as flooding place the city's infrastructure and its assets, which is estimated to worth about $5.3 billion at a very high risk from the impact of floods. The city is flat and low-lying with an estimated population of about 5 million currently. Flooding has been the known important weather events that has impacted Dar es Salaam historically. By using a local climate impact profile, LCLIP, I was able to assess the impacts that were caused by the flooding events that have occurred recently. In December 2011, the city experienced the heavy rain. The city experienced heavy rainfall, causing unprecedented flash floods, resulting to the death of about 23 people, and about 4,909 people were displaced. Thousands were left homeless, and businesses were forced to close as the city were ravaged by the impact of floods. In mid-April 2014, extensive rainfall over Dar es Salaam caused flooding in the city, affecting about 20,000 people, leaving 19 people killed in the process. There was a damage on the transport infrastructure, and the affected people were forced to relocate to nearby schools and churches. The global climate change models projects an average increase in temperature for Tanzania, regardless of the model. For the IPCC mid-range emission scenario A1B, the temperature is expected to increase between 0.8 to 0.9 Celsius by the year 2030 and 1.5 to 1.6 degrees Celsius by 2050, as shown on the GCM for the Southern African region. By the end of the century, the increase in temperature is predicted to be approximately 4.5 degrees Celsius according to RPC 8.5 scenarios. On the case of rainfall, the rainfall is expected to change under both a B1
Created
and
with
A2
free version for non-commercial use.
To GCM used for the Southern Africa. The median of the models suggests the most likely change for each period, whereas the percentage of models can be taken as an indication of the confidence in whether a positive or a negative change is consistently simulated across the GCM models. If one seeks consistency across GCM models, as well as consistency across both the A2 and B1 scenario, then increases in rainfall are suggested during December month to May, with decrease during June to August. During the September to November period, the simulations are less consistent. These impacts may increase or decrease specific threats and vulnerabilities to specific local government sectors as studied. Water and sanitation. The impacts on water and sanitation include decreased water supply and availability, reduced quality due to siltation and stagnant water, increased demand on water resources for human consumption, increased demand on water resources for agriculture, irrigation, and increased demand on water resources for livestock watering. And the impacts on this is increased casualty from dehydration, increased geographical dispersal of waterborne disease, decreased availability of fresh water supply for drinking and for cooking purpose, and high livestock mortality rates. On the case of transport, for the road, the impact will include damage of infrastructure, blockage of roads due to fallen trees and
Created
debris,
with free version
and
for
the cost of
non-commercial
flooding
use.
causes diversions on the roads, and as well as the accidents. And the impacts on the livelihood on this part will include limit access routes, as well as work hours lost, and ultimately reducing income. For port, the impacts include the damage of infrastructure, erosion to coastal infrastructure and equipment, as well as the damage of boats. And again, the impacts on this, on the livelihoods, is days at sea will be lost, work hours will also be lost, reducing income, which again, if the port is rendered unworkable, then there's no income stream until the damage has been cleared. On the health sector, the impacts will include increased casualty suffering from dehydration, inequality in the distribution of drought
Created with
relief,
free version for non-commercial use.
Heat-related illness such as dizziness, heat stress, and increased infection and distribution of disease vectors. And the impact on this will include lower productivity in the workplace due to dehydration or heat stroke, and loss of man hours. In drought, people may choose to prioritize their time to getting water and food supplies rather than conventional work, and so productivity may decrease. In conclusion, the risk and impacts upon water and sanitation, transport, health, and energy, as shown above, has ultimately affect human livelihoods. There is a need for ongoing vulnerability assessment and the development of adaptation strategies and preparedness in protecting local communities and the environment on which they depend upon for their livelihoods and well-being. Thanks.